anime desperately needs more remakes. I would say now, the ones that deserve remakes. Some are off what I hear, some are off what I know. What I know, Berserk, Berserk, they got done dirty too many times. They didn't deserve that. I feel like the movie was cool. The 90s wasn't bad to my memory. Berserk 90s, the 90s anime wasn't bad, but I think it does deserve a full remake and it needs to be caught up to the recent chapters. Like, come on, bro. It got like 300 chapters. I don't know how many the anime covered, but yeah. Berserk. Um, I hear a lot of Soul Eater. Soul Eater should get a remake. Now, I think that it would be so perfect if some way somehow, like, cause Fire Force is about to end. Okay, we're gonna see Bancho Man Shinra. We're gonna see him, right? We're going to see him make the Soul Eater verse. So I feel like it would be so perfect if they were, that could be like the 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 the, the, the starting point into a Soul Eater remake. I'm just saying. Soul Eater needs a remake. Also, I did research on that because I watched Soul Eater. I never watched it before. I watched it for the first time this year, and I heard that, I forget, but how many chapters. But I know the ending of the anime is not the manga at all. They did their own thing. I forgot. I think it was up to like episode 30 something or like 20 something. After that, they just stopped going off the manga and just did their own thing. So I would say that. Um, Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, I say Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul could get a remake. One Piece is already getting one whenever that's gonna drop. I don't know if that's ever gonna drop. Dragon Ball Super is getting one, which it was needed. Um, dang. What's like some staples, like, I don't know. They're the only ones I can think of right now. They're the only ones I can think of right now.
Anime fans want remakes of the same old shows. Soul Eater makes sense because it has an original ending. But then
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Bleach, nah. Bleach doesn't need one. One Piece doesn't need one either. But they're taking out all the filler and they're shortening arcs, better animation. The voice acting is gonna be different. Like, it's not needed, but I think it kind of is needed for like new people who want to get into One Piece, because a lot of people don't want to watch One Piece because it's so long. So once they drop the One Piece, way more people are actually gonna watch One Piece.
you'll see people say they
But Bleach isn't Bleach. I don't think Bleach needs one. It's not as the pacing and everything is not nearly as bad as One Piece.
want remakes for shows like Naruto, Bleach, or Berserk. And
No, Berserk definitely needs a remake. What? It definitely needs a remake. And they need to like I said, they need to continue making shows for the chapters that they didn't cover. Naruto was getting a remake as well. I think it's only like 4 episodes. It's OG Naruto, not Shippuden. It's OG Naruto. I think like 4 episodes are getting remade. Shippuden doesn't need a remake though. That's no.
makes you wonder why people want to see the same shows.
Shippuden
It
doesn't need a
actually makes a
remake.
lot of sense when you find
Tokyo
out how
Ghoul needs a
many
remake.
anime have original endings or just make stuff up, as well as all of the anime that are decades old and are kind of
Needs a
hard to
remake.
watch. That's why in this video, I'm going to list the anime that need remakes the most, discuss the different reasons they need remakes, and explain why remakes are great for both anime and manga. And obviously the best anime to start with.
Bro, it's never, I would never complain about a show getting a remake, an anime getting a remake. I would never complain about that.
Is
Because ultimately, I don't know. But it's literally, well, it should be better than the original.
Soul Eater. I'm not going to mention any spoilers, but
Yeah,
there's
Soul Eater.
basically two reasons why everyone wants a
It's a
Soul
lot of
Eater
things
remake, and
that
it all
wasn't in the
boils down
anime
to
that
the
was in
most
the
common
manga.
factor for an anime remake.
But yeah,
the
the
fact
ending.
that so many anime end short and have original endings. Soul Eater was made back in 2008 and ended right before they followed that up with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which, funny enough, was a remake of the original Full Metal Alchemist anime they made that also had an original ending. So you can already see how studios get pushed to remake anime. The problem with Soul Eater, like so many anime, is that it was
I think it was the anime was moving too fast. Like the anime ended up catching up. It caught up to the manga, and then they just weren't trying to wait, so they just did their own thing.
running while the manga was still putting out
Yeah,
chapters.
literally, it was running. I don't understand why they did that. Why they thought it was a good thing, but yeah, they caught up to the anime caught up to the manga, and then they were just like, "We gonna do our own shit now. We're not waiting."
This is still very common, but it was especially bad in the 90s and early 2000s when everything was weekly. The end result is that even though Soul Eater is still a gorgeous anime, even by modern standards, it really only adapts like half of the manga, and it has an anime original ending that just isn't very good. And this is why you're seeing more and more people ask for a Soul Eater remake.
And it wasn't even just that. It was some other arcs that just weren't in the anime that were so good in the manga. It just didn't make sense why they didn't do that.
Which is fine and all, but the question you might be wondering is why now? Like, why do so many people suddenly want a Soul Eater remake? Well, a lot of it has to do with Fire Force ending.
I'm telling you, that literally makes the most sense, bro. It makes the most sense. Soul Eater is ending. At the end of Soul Eater, at the end of Fire Force, he created Soul Eater. Boom. They could show it. Soul Eater. They don't even gotta call it a remake. Just call it Soul Eater. Boom. It's perfect. It's a perfect setup for Soul Eater to be introduced again, bro. It's
basically
perfect.
The end of Fire Force will be the perfect way for Bones to step in and
bro.
say, okay guys, now we're gonna do Soul
Literally
Eater
perfect.
Brotherhood or whatever. It would be perfect timing, and they would be doing it to go back and fix the ending of the original anime.
Facts.
This is also why
And
you see people say that they want
animation.
remakes for shows like Zatch Bell or Claymore. These are shows that still look pretty good, but they end short and never adapt the entire manga. There's a ton of these series like Zatch Bell or even Shaman King that just never got the anime that they deserved. But Zatch Bell and these other anime are still pretty good even by today's standards. The only reason people want to see them get remakes is because they want to see the rest of the manga adapted. This is nothing compared to the anime that are just plain unwatchable. These anime aren't nearly as common, but you do occasionally get those shows that for whatever reason decide they're just gonna totally diverge from the manga. The most notorious example of this is probably Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh man. The manga is just so much better, bro. Literally every single way possible. There is nothing in the anime that is better than the manga, bro. Tokyo Ghoul's anime got so much hate as well, especially back then, bro. It was so bad. And let's be honest, bro. Bro, a lot of people were not reading manga back then. They weren't. Like, I wasn't. What you talking about, bro? I remember, bro. People used to say, because I didn't like Soul Eater when I first watched it. I mean, what am I saying? I didn't like Tokyo Ghoul when I first watched it. I watched Tokyo Ghoul 3 or 2 times, but the first time I watched it, I did not like it. The second time I watched it, and then that's when I had read the manga, and then I was, oh man.
It's not like Soul Eater or Zatch Bell because it came out in 2014, so it's barely that old. And despite the reputation that Studio Pierrot may have, the animation in this show is pretty good, at least in the first season. The only problem is that the story is completely different from the manga. The first season cuts a bunch of stuff, and after that it's a totally different story. So you have the original manga, which isn't perfect, but many fans consider it to be a classic. And then you have the anime, which is practically a fan fiction. This is a case where you're...
Also, I'm saying it right now, I don't care. Boruto, bruh. Boruto needs a remake. Facts. I don't care. Boruto needs a remake. Now we know that we're getting Boruto. Obviously, we getting it. I don't know, probably next year, the year after that. We getting it in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, I don't know if they just go leave off where the anime left off, or they just go start over and do the whole remake. Go back to episode 1 and then boom. But Boruto needs a remake, bro. Facts.
Pretty much doing yourself a
Because Boruto is so good, and they literally ruined it for a lot of people. Because a lot of people, when they hear Boruto, they just say it's bad, bro. Which the anime is bad. Literally because of the filler, though. It's literally the filler. If you can go on a website and you can see what episodes are filler, and you skip those and just watch the manga adapted episodes, you are going to like Boruto.
service by watching the anime because you have no idea what really happens in the original story. So remaking Tokyo Ghoul is a no-brainer because if Pierrot properly adapts
But I don't think they're ever going to do it, though. No, they're
the
not.
manga,
They're probably not.
then fans will almost definitely love it, especially considering their recent improvements in animation. This is also why a lot of fans want a remake for The Promised Neverland.
Oh, I forgot about that. Really, just season 2. Season 1 was perfect. They don't need to touch season 1 at all. At all. Bro, I literally almost, I think I almost finished season 1 in a day. Season 1 was great, bro. Season 2,
even though it's only like 5 years old. This one is especially sad because season 1 is still one of the best experiences you can have watching an anime.
Facts.
And on its own, season 1 is perfect. The problem
I like you said that, boy. I like that you said that. Yes. Season 1 was like perfect, bro. Perfect. Season 2, I ain't gonna lie, that hurt me too. That hurt me, bro. That hurt me. That hurt me so much, man. Cause I remember my boy put me onto the show. I don't know if it was before season 2 came out or after. I don't remember, but he put me onto this show. This show is beautiful.
is when you get to season 2 and they cut just about everything, including the Goldie Pond arc, which is widely considered the series' best arc. On top of that, there is also a noticeable drop in the quality of animation. And finally, it ends short on an ending that is different from the manga and doesn't adapt a whole bunch of stuff that's important. It's one of those moments that's so bad that even as an anime fan, you're just like, wait, that was it? So this is one where fans want to remake because the second season's writing makes
they don't
it
have to
unwatchable.
They don't have to remake season 1. Don't touch it, bro. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just do season 2, dude.
Even though the first season is still really good.
Just do
now,
season
on the
2.
other side of this conversation, you also have another situation like Record of Ragnarok. This one is hilariously sad because for a while, it was being praised as the next big manga, and then everyone died a little when the anime came out and it was one big PowerPoint. I don't know how faithful it is, but apparently nobody cared enough to find out.
Yeah, that's ugly. But I liked it. I liked it. I don't think I watched the new season though.
Because the animation is just that bad. But people still love the manga, so hopefully this anime gets a remake in like 10 years and fixes the animation. But it's a new anime, so it's still way too early to be talking about a remake.
Yeah, and they
in
just
fact,
dropped a new
as much
season.
as I think a lot of these newer anime could probably use remakes, there's also plenty of series that need remakes for an entirely different reason. This is something that Pokemon did not too long ago, and now I think it's time they do the same for Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's because Yu-Gi-Oh! Desperately needs a brand new
No, yeah, I do. I think all the classics should get them. Like Pokemon, because I never watched Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie. I never got into Pokemon. I don't even think I ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Either, though. I don't know. But like the big state, but them a lot of episodes though.
Story. This brings us to the
Let me
third
see how many
reason for a
Pokemon.
good
Let me see.
remake, and that's when a show that's been running for like 30 years has become obsolete and needs to completely start over. Pokemon did this because Ash was using the same Pikachu for over 20
that hoe got
years,
20
and only
seasons.
die-hard fans were still watching the new episodes at that point. So in 2023, OLM revamped the anime with Pokemon Horizons.
Oh. Well, I'm talking about the
featuring a
original.
new story following two brand new main characters. Obviously, it hasn't reached the same hype as the original story, but fans love it, and now you have a new
Yu-Gi-Oh!
show
only
that
got
doesn't
20-something
depend on the
episodes?
same old characters.
Oh.
And this is why Yu-Gi-Oh! Could really use a
I thought it was gonna be longer, bro. It got 27 episodes. I thought it had way more than that. Obviously, they got like different ones, but I'm talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought it had, bro. I thought the show had like 500 episodes. I might have to watch it, bro. I might actually have to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, cause I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I said, I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. Dang, but I can't complain about a show being too long since I watched One Piece.
Similar revamp. Yu-Gi-Oh is even worse because the anime is just as old as Pokemon, but unlike Pokemon, which follows one coherent storyline and follows the same characters, Yu-Gi-Oh is split up into different series with all different characters. There's the original anime, then GX, then 5Ds, then Zexal, then Arc V, then V-Rain. And then there's still 2 more parts. And every part of the anime is like 100 episodes, not including the original series. So the anime is super long. It leaves behind the characters people invested in back in the original anime. And to top it all off, each series gets more convoluted as it steps more and more into the sci-fi genre with complicated technology and all kinds of crazy space alien parallel universe storylines.
Not gonna lie, looking at this picture, I would think this is Ben 10. Like I would think this is from like the Ben 10 show.
It's sad because Yu-Gi-Oh is still an amazing series and the card game is still fun to play, but fans only care about the older story, which is why most people don't care about the newer series. They even have an online animated series that they just started, but not only do people not care about it, I don't even think anyone knows about it. And most people have dropped the game because it's so removed from the characters they care about.
Cam?
So what
just happened to my cam? What just happened to my cam? What happened to my cam? What just happened? Um. Um. Bro, now this is falling. I don't know. Stuff just be happening.
Yu-Gi-Oh really needs is a revamp just like Horizons. I don't think they should wipe away all of the other series because those are still important, but I think they should make a new anime. Probably some kind of sequel to the events with Yugi that also includes all of the newer elements like pendulum summoning and link monsters. They kind of did this with Sevens, but it was actually just to promote a new version of the card game, and it's really just not that good. If the Yugi and Dragon Ball FighterZ trend proves anything, it's that people still love the original characters. So if you made a new anime that followed new characters with interesting motivations, that showed them playing the new game and finding out what happened to the original characters like Yugi and Kaiba, not only would this get people interested in the card game again, but it would create an entire new generation of fans. But I understand I'm a bit biased here, and that while revamps for shows like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are nice, these series already have perfectly good shows. I'm sure all of you are already thinking of shows that are just as old, maybe even older, that actually need remakes because they don't just compare to modern shows. And modernizing an older show is probably the biggest reason people want remakes. This is exactly why Studio Wit is remaking One Piece.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. One Piece, it don't really need it, but it needs it because it's gonna make it better. It's gonna make it easier for new people to get into One Piece, bro, without having to read the manga. Because everybody don't want to read the manga, bro. Some people literally just want to watch the show, and that the One Piece is gonna make it so much easier for people to get into One Piece, bro. That's why I told when people asked me about One Piece, I told people, yo, just wait, bro. I don't know when it's coming, but once it comes, that's when the One Piece comes out. That's when you watch One Piece. That's when it's gonna be perfect to watch One Piece, bro. Your experience is gonna be so much better.
It's over 1,000 episodes, and on top of that, the older episodes aren't even in the standard ratio. So people are excited to watch a modern take on One Piece with updated visuals. This is also why a lot of people want to see a Naruto remake. Studio Pierrot is already working on a 4-part special that's supposed to come out this year, but even then I'm sure Naruto fans
Oh, okay. I thought this video was old.
will still want a proper adaptation with more than a few full seasons. The main reason being that while the original anime is still really good, the pacing isn't exactly great and it has some of the worst filler in anime. You also
Ooh, I don't know. I didn't really watch Naruto. I read it though. I read it. It was great. It was a great read. It was a great read. But that's one reason why I didn't watch the show, because the pacing, not really the filler, because the website tells me what episodes are filler, but it was really just the pacing, bro. So I read it. I read it. But it was, like I said, it was a great read though. I liked it. I wish I would have watched it back then. It's crazy because I played Naruto games, but I just have no recollection of any of that.
have Bleach.
Damn, Bleach has 45% filler. I mean, a Bleach remake, but it's not even done yet though. Well, One Piece isn't done either. Never mind.
Another anime with its own share of painful filler. Thankfully, Studio
The big three getting a remake. That does sound good. One Piece and Naruto already doing it. Bleach might as well. They might as well. Might as well.
Pierrot came back and hit a home run with Thousand Year Blood War, but this is actually why a lot of fans want a remake of all of the earlier episodes. Bleach still looks good by today's standards, but it's almost 30 years old, and again, it has some not great pacing and some pretty bad filler. Some of the filler is good, but most of it is skippable.
I'm not gonna lie. The only show where I really watched filler was One Piece. One Piece's filler is actually good, especially that one joint. I don't know what it's called, but that one, I don't remember. I think it's the letter, fan letter. It was this one, and I think it's another one, bro. This right here, though, this was beautiful, bro. I don't know if people have seen this, but the letter, bro. This was beautiful, bro. This was beautiful. I remember when this first came out, dude. I was like, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. And then I seen some stuff on Twitter, bro. In my opinion, this is better than a lot of like canon One Piece episodes, man. This is one of my favorite joints. And it's not like man. Hold on, let's just watch this. Let's watch this real quick. Kidding me, bro. Bro, this is bad, bro. Hold on. It's not really that good at it. Let's see one at the top. This got 1.4 million likes. Wait, is this the same one? How do you ride like you're running out of time? Right day and night like you're running out of time. Every day you fight like you're running out of time. Like you're running out of time. Are you running out of time? How do you ride like tomorrow won't arrive? How do you ride like you needed to survive? How do you ride every second you're alive? Every second. Bro, this was beautiful, bro. Cause it was showing like this one scene, like it was showing like how regular, like what happens when regular Marines really in that field when they going to get some demons, bro. Every day you fight like you're running out of. Oh my god, he told him to run, bro. He ain't wanna run him. My gold Luffy saved him, bro. How do you ride like tomorrow won't arrive? How do you ride like you needed to survive? Like, bro, imagine you trying to fight and Mihawk and Crocodile are about to fight right next to you. How do you ride every second you're alive? Every second you're alive. Every second you're alive. This was beautiful, bro. I don't know. If you haven't seen it, bro, you gotta see it. You gotta see it. Which one am I? You gotta see it, bro.
And should be skipped. But even ignoring the pacing problems, a lot of people just want to see these older shows with modern animation. This is why a lot of people still want another Berserk remake. Personally, I think you should just watch the 97 anime and then read the manga, but it's easy.
See? That's what I'm saying. 97 anime is good, but read the manga. Bro, everybody don't want to do that. Everybody don't want to do that.
To understand why people want to see one of the greatest manga of all time get an anime with modern visuals that aren't just CGI. But that brings us to the last point about why all of these anime deserve remakes. Because when I bring up CGI, I'm sure everyone has an example of a show that's in CGI, and you still don't know who that show is for. There's also the dozens of shows that got live-action remakes, which to be fair are definitely getting better, but you'd still rather see a show getting animated. So the obvious counter-argument is that all of this
they're about to make a live action Sakamoto Days. I'm good.
focus on remakes is only hurting the industry, but this is completely wrong. Granted, there are a lot of bad remakes, but clearly the remakes are getting better.
I never
Plus,
seen a
if
bad
everyone actually watches these remakes, that only helps the
Never mind,
industry.
the Berserk.
One of my favorite anime of all time is Dragon Quest, and that's technically a remake of the original anime from the 90s. But on top of creating a ton of
Who is this? Why Lil Bro look like Goku? Or Goku look like him?
new fans for a manga from the 90s, the popularity of this anime led to a new run of the manga, a manga that didn't have an official translation for years, and it even led to the original manga getting its own
Who is this?
prequel series, which is actually pretty popular. Remakes and manga have this relationship.
Dragon Quest.
Sometimes it's like Dragon Quest, where publishers see the success of the anime and so they invest in the manga. Sometimes it's the other way around, and enough people continue to buy the manga, so they continue to invest in the anime. This is why you'll randomly get movies or new anime for older series or completed series, because the sales for the manga are just that good. In any event, as much as remakes can be bad, they do more good for the industry as a whole, and especially considering there's a lot of great manga that still need proper anime adaptations,
Facts.
as well as older anime that would
Vagabond. No. Actually, I haven't even read that yet. That's one that I'm about to read. Vagabond. Because I finished Villain Saga.